in time of war as in time of peace, an industry close to the heart and pocketbook of the American public is show business, whose pulse is Broadway, but whose nerve system spreads over a large portion of the globe. For nearly 4 decades, the gaudy doings of the men and women of show business have been reported to the world by Variety, a weekly theatrical paper edited from an inconspicuous building off Broadway by men who carry on in their own way the colorful journalistic tradition of its founder, the late, great Syme Silverman, osteopath of the English language and inventor of some of the most unfettered journalese ever to be set in type. Today, Variety is devoting its space to a story bigger even than that of the amusement industry's new wartime boom. The vital and amazing story of American show business at war. Of the amusement industry's total manpower, a high percentage is now serving in the armed forces. Every branch of show business has contributed its white-collar men, technicians, and skilled artisans in answer to the call to arms. Famous actors, whose peacetime salaries reached astronomical figures, serve today on an equal footing with the members of their former public. The American stage, concert hall, radio, and screen are already organized in their every branch to further the war effort. The work of the War Activities Committee of the motion picture industry is typical of the enthusiasm of top executives and artists for full cooperation with the government and with the armed services. Such committees are putting at the disposal of the nation all the facilities show business has developed for quick and effective contact with the American public. And at every show shop in the land, citizens today contribute to 100 wartime causes. Outside the theaters, hundreds of millions of dollars of war bonds have been sold as a result of the personal appeals of America's most appealing personalities, the stars of the stage and screen. On one such bond drive, the well-loved film star Carole Lombard gave her life. The motion picture industry today is supplying without charge all its newest and best feature films to the U.S. War Department Overseas Film Division for shipment to every U.S. base and camp abroad. Ace cameramen from the newsreel companies are training the uniformed men who will become combat cinematographers for the Army and Navy on every fighting front. Documentary and industrial filmmakers are furthering the government's plans for the visual education of millions of new workers in war industry and for the training by films of the men of the American Armed Forces. In Hollywood, Walt Disney has turned over almost the entire facilities of his studio for the production of Army and Navy instructional films, some of them involving closely guarded military inventions and techniques.
Let's go with Navy Project 648, Sequence 1. Let her roll.
Famed Hollywood director John Ford now heads the film-producing unit of the newly organized Office of Strategic Services under the aegis of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. From North Africa, a former Hollywood producer, Colonel Darrell Zanuck, has brought an official film record of frontline action. To produce inspirational films for servicemen and public alike, the Army's Special Services Division has mobilized many of the industry's best editors and technicians. From millions of feet of film confiscated from the enemy or donated by American film companies, these men are preparing pictures to set the war record straight and to counteract enemy propaganda. Air forces have their own production units, making specialized films for the training of aviators and ground crews. In New York City, the Army's Signal Corps Photographic Center is today the biggest and busiest American film studio outside Hollywood. On vast stages, the Army is producing films which explain every phase of military activity in graphic terms, for the indoctrination of raw recruits, and for the instruction of the Army's ever-growing legions of specialists. But most impressive single example of cooperation between the Army and the film industry is the production of a wartime musical show with an all-soldier cast, which on the stage alone grossed an unprecedented total of nearly $2 million for Army emergency relief and brought new glory to its veteran composer and author, Irving Berlin. This as the Army carries on the tradition of patriotism and American high spirits, which its author created in World War I with his famous Army musical show, Yip, Yip, Yap, Hank, which gave the world a soldier song that will never die.
Someday I'm going to murder the bugler. Someday they're going to find him dead. I'll amputate his reveille and step upon it heavily and spend the rest of my life in bed.
Oh, how I hate to get up in the morning. Oh, how I love to remain in bed. For the hardest blow of all is to hear the bugle call. You gotta get up, you gotta get up, you gotta get up this morning.
In most cities of the United States, a serviceman on leave can be reasonably sure of finding a decent, interesting evening's amusement, thanks to the USO and its related agencies. At New York's Stage Door Canteen, men on leave rub shoulders with notables as they enjoy good food and amusing company. The latest novelties in Broadway's almost inexhaustible store of entertainment are theirs at no cost. Merchant seamen, unsung heroes of the seven seas, get a warm welcome at their own recreational clubs, where the cooking is done by such nationally famous stars as the Theater Guild's Alfred Lunt. To entertain workers in war industry throughout the land, the American Theater Wing now sends out complete shows to boost morale and production with fun during the brief lunch period. In the nation's military and naval hospitals, the great names of screen, stage, and concert hall, singly and in group, are bringing to wounded and invalided men entertainment which is an integral part of therapeutic care. Taking its place in the Army camps with more familiar American vaudeville, the traditional Russian ballet has found itself a new and unexpected crop of devotees. Still tops in entertainment are the well-known acts and personalities.
No,
Famous radio shows play the camp circuit, too.
Sure, I got your cookies. And send some more, honey. And tell Mom to send some more of that homemade candy. I hid the last one in my bunk, slept on it and mashed it. But even flat, it's good.
I'll give you a hint. She put everything she had on the horse.
Lady Godiva.
Lady Godiva is correct, and you get $64 and congratulations.
Oh, no, wait a minute. No, you cannot read that poem.
Jack, you let me read my poem, or I'll tell all these fellas here that when you were in the Navy, you went up to the crow's nest looking for eggs.
Aren't you ashamed of yourself calling these fellas horse-faced and stinky?
Yeah.
Aren't you ashamed of yourself? Well, very little, very little. I want you to look at these men.
Yeah.
Look at all the girls back there. What do you think of them? Yeah.
At the Hollywood Canteen, members of the armed forces can have experiences worth writing home about. A dance with Olivia de Havilland, Marlene Dietrich, or Deanna Durbin can be a reality. But to many youngsters, contact with Hollywood's glamour girls still has the quality of a dream. Contributing to the fun are well-known Hollywood figures, relegated to the roles of busboy or waiter.
F-35. Someone have F-35? F-35. Somebody have it?
I got it.
And Leonard, you have won here at the Hollywood Canteen a $25 bond, which is presented every night by a different studio. And with this $25 bond goes an additional 10-day pass. Say, listen, you're going to take your bond now, but if you're the man I think you are from Brooklyn, you'll get Miss Hedy Lamarr to seal it with a kiss. What about it, Hedy?
Fine with me.
Go ahead. Hey, that ain't the Brooklyn I know, huh, gang?
To provide laughs for men on distant outposts and in the combat zones, famous performers travel thousands of risky miles. Share the life of the troops in camps from the South Pacific to North Africa. Women stars carry on their work as near the battle line as Army regulations will allow. And far from home, the greatest jazz singer of them all, Al Jolson, finds that soldiers still like the old songs best.
Alabama, I'm a-coming. Sorry that I made you wait. I'm a-coming. Hope and trust that I'm not late. Oh, Mammy, my little Mammy. I'd walk a million miles for one of your smiles. My Mammy, oh, Mammy. My little Mammy. The sun shines east, the sun shines west. I know where the sun shines best. It's on my Mammy I'm talking about. Nobody else's, my little Mammy. My heartstrings are tangled around Alabama. Mammy, Mammy, I'm coming. Oh, I hope I didn't make you wait. Mammy, I'm coming. Oh, God, I hope I'm not late. Mammy, look at me. Don't you know me? I'm your little baby. I'd walk 1,000,000 miles for one of your smiles. My
Day and night, American radio is reaching distant camps with special broadcasts, recorded and beamed to the U.S. forces wherever they may be. Featured artists give their talents willingly and generously.
Oh, them golden slippers, oh, them golden slippers, them golden slippers, I'm trying to wear case if it's so neat. Oh, them golden slippers, oh, them golden slippers, them golden slippers, I'm trying to wear to walk on the golden street.
By the way, Rochester, what's your brother doing?
My brother's in the infantry, KP division.
What's that, KP?
Keep peeling.
Most extraordinary of American radio shows is one the civilian public never hears. A War Department program made up of personalities and numbers specially requested by the men actually on the fighting fronts and beamed to them alone by shortwave transmission.
Tonight, we believe we have the most unusual request made to date. Here is the letter. Special Service Division, War Department, Los Angeles. Dear Command of Performance, we feel we could win the war single-handed if we could only hear Carole Landis sigh. That's all we want, just a sigh. Signed to Jimmy, Doc, and Big Mac somewhere in the South Pacific. Okay, fellow, don't forget your promise. Carole Landis will now sigh.
Time marches on.